Hi there. So this meditation that we're about to do together goes along with the video that's on the YouTube channel called Don't Trip. Excuse me. Don't Trip does not include a meditation. So if you were bummed out about that, well, you found this one. This goes along with that message to you about Don't Trip. Don't Trip, if you haven't heard it, it was a video where I just speak to you about some of my meditation journey, how meditations helped me very personally, and my wish for you as a result of what it's taught me and what I've learned from it, and how it's also evolved me, just in general. So I'd like to offer you a meditation for a few minutes. Please, if you have not read that, or if you have not listened to that, just take listen. It's 20 minutes. Just use it as an excuse to sit with a nice beverage and just put your feet up for 20 minutes and just hear what I have to say. I'm recognizing that the more people that reach out to me and say, the more I'm meditating with you, this is what it's doing for me. And I'd like to make more of a personal connection to you. I would like to connect to you, but I also want you to feel more personally connected to me. Like I'm not a teacher sitting in an ivory tower just giving you this instruction. I'm doing it with you, but I'd like you to sort of know me, behind my voice. I'm sure we all love the Wizard of Oz movie and, the Great Oz, but nobody saw, his personality until the end when he helped Dorothy and everybody get home and get their, brains and hearts and courage. My hope is your meditation today allows you to feel sharper in mind, like the Scarecrow of Wizard of Oz, more connected to your heart, like the Tin Man, and braver, like the lion. Let's begin. So sit comfortably, however you like, and once you get in that position, put something underneath your hips and buttocks so that you are keeping your hips higher than your knees, which takes pressure off and compression off the back, low back especially. Inhale, take your arms up. And just take a big stretch. So stretch your arms to the sky. You can tell I'm stretching with you, right? Stretch your arms to the sky. And just let your arms come down. And as your arms come down, take any other stretch for just a moment that would feel better in your body. So right now I'm sort of just sitting, but I'm turning my torso to the left, away from my right hip a little bit. And then I'm just taking my next breath and I'm turning my torso to the right. And then I'm just taking and walking my fingertips in front of me on the carpet, hands, arms, shoulder width apart. And I'm just sort of pushing the carpet away from me while I'm pressing my back. Hug your belly in to support your back. And get that stretch, pressing your back to the wall behind it. If you're doing your own thing, keep doing it, But if you're looking for something what should I do? This is just suggestion that I'm doing. Lastly, I'd like you to just rest your palms on the tops of your thighs, close to the hip. And I'd like you to just stretch your chest to the ceiling. If it's comfortable, you can let your head go back. If it is not, don't do it. But just open your chest. And then return back to your seated position. So meditation, where you can come into sharper mind, really feel more of your own good heart and be a little braver. That's what we're doing today. All 10 of your fingertips to touch. And with all 10 of your fingertips touching, feel all 10 of your fingers touching. You already have a sharper mind. You already have a deep pulse and flow of goodness running through your heart. You already have more bravery. We're just going to pare down some of your surface mind so that you can come back to really feeling you. You already have it in you. You know, it's like Glenda said to Dorothy, you already have it in you. Well, you have everything that you need. You already are everything that you're seeking. It's probably just under a bunch of stuff. Like, you can have stuff in your bureau drawer, and you could be looking for that one great sweater or shirt underneath all the other stuff. There it is. It's already there. You know, kind of just look at it like that. Like, keep it really simple, the perspective. Feel all 10 of your fingertips touching. A lot of what happens for people who think that they don't have a sharper mind, that they don't have a deeper intelligence, is that they've been running on a program where somebody at some point along the way told them they were stupid, they were idiots, they were foolish. I had a very significant woman in my life from a young age who'd always said, use your head for something besides a hat rack. I thought I was an idiot. As a result, I overcompensated a lot. All 10 fingertips are touching. Let's start with your thumb tips now. Your thumb tips are touching. You already have a great heart. My guess is that if you haven't been able to feel that, you're probably pretty busy. You're probably running around for others, trying to get everything done and, you know, make sure everybody's needs are met. And you haven't been able to feel you. Your thumb tips are touching. Or perhaps your heart's been closed off for a while. And I'm sure it's for good reason. Perhaps you had a deep hurt and you keep that guard up, that armor. And maybe you're conscious of it, but maybe you're not. Most often we aren't. Just feel your physical fingertips touching. And so it seems like we're going through life and we're just fine, but emotionally we're closed off. The energy is either expansive or contracted. And if your heart is contracted, you're not going to be able to feel your own goodness. And some people have a lot of programs where they decided or were told as a child there was something wrong with them, therefore making them unlovable. Bring your focus to your index fingers, please. Hear my voice, but just keep taking all your concentration and funnel it to your first fingertips touching. It doesn't mean that you don't have a good heart. It probably means you haven't connected to it for a while. And maybe you're absolutely fantastic. Maybe you're like, I'm already got the sharper image mind. My heart is a walking Hallmark card. And I'm a badass with confidence. Awesome. This meditation is also for you. to just really deepen those qualities. Your first fingers are touching. Feel them physically touching. The truth is also maybe you're somebody who's very busy. Or maybe you have a lot of internal dialogue running through your head. Meditation pares some of that down. It's like you could imagine arriving in meditation, perhaps mentally and emotionally, or even physically, like you're wearing 8 layers of clothing. And as you sat still, you'd realize quickly how uncomfortable that is. You know, how you might get hot, overheated. First fingertips are touching. Some of you might be hearing what I'm talking about and recognizing, oh yeah, meditation's kind of just like peeling layers. Layers of, many layers of clothing or layers of an onion. And then some of you might be thinking, oh, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm actually thinking about that episode of Friends where Joey wears all of Chandler's clothes and does the lunges, knowing he's not wearing any underwear, and it's totally grossing Chandler out. See, your mind is like that, you have a thought and you're with me, and then all of a sudden you think about something else. So it's just practice. Bring your focus to your middle fingers now, please. Now, if you haven't seen it, your mind is probably saying, I gotta see what she's talking about. I gotta pause this meditation and find that clip on YouTube. It was pretty funny. Middle fingers are touching. If you're somebody always feeling like you're running late all the time, it probably tells me that you're, just need to kind of plug in more to your own internal clock. We have those internal rhythms and cues that will tell us, when to go to bed or when to eat or when to leave the house to get somewhere. And we get caught up. Next thing you know, it's, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Then you have a belief you're going to be late. You ever notice how so much traffic seems to slow down, or the train decides it's going to cross in front of you, or the light seems to be red forever, and you say, I don't have time for this shit. Middle fingers touching. I'm talking to you about the regular, real human mind and the regular human person in day-to-day life. I think meditation is helpful in those areas. What it's taught me is when I'm more present, then I'm more quiet in mind. I'm more present to paying attention to time. So I manage it better now rather than it managing me. When I'm cued into my own internal clock, it's because I'm not all gunked up in my head or in my body. So I'm more sensitive to tune into things like that. But also as I slow down in meditation, I find that I have more time and more time to arrive places where I always would have been late before. Middle fingers touching. Middle fingers are touching. Physically feel them. Breath in. Sigh it out. Middle fingers are touching. as our head gets a little quieter, calmer, we feel more relaxed on the inside. We are more likely to retain things we need to remember. Sharper mind. As we feel more settled in mind, we feel more equanimity emotionally in our heart. Those are great messages for our health and wellness. Third fingers touching. If your eyes are closed, open them up. Plug into seeing your third fingers touching. If you've kept your eyes open this whole time, just try it out. Close your eyes. And drill your mental focus back to third fingers touching. And make it personal so it's something you actually anchor to by saying your your third fingers touching. Or you say it like, my third fingers are touching. My third fingers are touching. My third fingers are touching. As you physically feel them, you are becoming more plugged into this moment, right here, right now, the present. As you feel more physically connected and mentally plugged in to right here, right now, with some emotional ease to go along with that, you're showing up in your center. Your center is starting to show itself to you. Your center is when your mind is very peaceful and very balanced. Emotionally, you're very balanced. You're very connected to the moment you're in with me right now. That's you finding center. And meditation is just a practice to do that. As you are more centered, you are braver. Your confidence starts to really show itself to you. It's like when you're centered, it's like, wow, I'm really behind the wheel. I'm really plugged in. Like my head, my heart, my body, it's all there. It's all with me. Because it's always with you. Usually our head and our hearts are just, kind of cut off. Your third fingers are touching. If you're somebody who has struggled with confidence, if you're somebody who felt it wasn't okay to acknowledge anything you were personally good at because you didn't want to seem like you were a show-off or arrogant, if you're somebody who has struggled to speak up for yourself, then your self-worth needs some fitness training. Your confidence needs some fitness strengthening and conditioning. Bring your attention, please, to your pinky fingers touching. Meditation starts to bring deep peace and healing, therefore strengthening you as a person from the inside out. Meditation's reminding you that underneath fear, underneath shrinking, underneath going along really quiet, not wanting to make any waves. Is a you that's braver. Your pinky fingers are touching. Take a breath in and a breath out. As you are more centered, you are stepping right out of the energy of reaction. From that place, you can be bolder in your bravery. Being brave doesn't mean you have to shout from the rooftops. Being brave can actually be a quieter thing. Just handling yourself and deciding that your self-worth needs you being an ally to yourself as much as you need support from others. You need to have your own back. But you need to care about yourself enough to have your own back. And as your esteem and your self-worth and your confidence grows and expands, as you connect to yourself deeper, it will, over time, you can handle things. You can respond to life rather than reacting to it, rather than charging at it, and also rather than shrinking away. You can respond with grace. Breathe in. Let go. All 10 of your fingers are touching. You have grace bubbling up within you. You have clarity. You just needed to sit and kind of, do some clear cutting. The forest through the trees. To see your path. So many people struggle because they run away from themselves. Because they're so conflicted because they were listening to what somebody else thinks they should be doing with their life. When really your intuition, which is the feeling, which is the language of the body, has been trying to guide you all along. All 10 fingers are touching. But to be able to take action on what you feel is right for you, you also have to have the inner confidence of grace to do that. We can't be clearer in mind if we can't hear ourselves think. And most of all, when we are contracted emotionally, when we're shut off, closed off, because of some old jerk or whatever, something painful, and we try to shield ourselves so that pain can't get near us again, which it still does. I mean, who are we kidding? But you don't want to close your heart off to the right people. And you can't afford anymore in this life to just live in your head. You need the deeper wisdom of your own intuition. You have to have a relationship to yourself. You have to have a sense of self in this life. Life requires it. And you have to be a stand for yourself. All 10 of your fingers are touching. And you're here because you're needed in the world. And if you struggle with anything, then you're going to be, you're going to have a wounded mind. You're going to have a wounded heart. And you can't live by that code anymore. That can't be your Da Vinci Code anymore. We need a new structure. For humanity to have a shot, we need a new structure of us on the inside. All 10 fingers touching. Meditation is just basically fitness for your own head. We're always taught about, making sure our body is strong, right? Our minds are suffering. So meditation, we cultivate some care. And we mend. And we find grace. And from that place, you start to feel better because you feel more whole. And from that place, you have power. And from your grace, you can be a true go-getter in a way that the world so needs in this life, right here, right now. If your heart's open a little more and you're thinking a little deeper than you normally do, man, I know God's saying, I would love to utilize you to be of service to somebody else. To help them to wake up, to help them to feel supported, to help them to come up from where they are. Share your grace. Share your peace. Share your truth. You're so needed in this world, or you wouldn't be here. Never let your suffering mind tell you otherwise, or anyone else on the outside of you for that matter. Take care.